right.
Hi.
Cool. All right. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Coach Ashley.
I'm Coach B.
And you're tuned in to Round Robin Wednesdays. I know it's been a minute since we've been together. We've had some stuff going on. B is completely healed with his knee injury. Work and COVID's kind of put us behind, but we back. Today, we're going to talk about a few different things, but most importantly, we're going to touch on growth and outgrowing situations. And so Jay made a point today, right before we started the podcast, about growth. And you said what, Jay?
Sometimes you outgrow situations. Growth is one of those things that some people are comfortable with, some people are uncomfortable with it. But, sometimes, but growth is necessary. It's 100% necessary. If you have a vision, you have a dream, you have something that you're working towards, you're going to measure your success based on your growth. If there's no growth, nobody wants to be around those situations. So
I agree. I think you pretty much is a stepping stone. You go through different programs, different levels for different reasons to get you where you want to be. So it's pretty much a stepping stone. So it's interchangeable. Eventually, you'll grow to the point where you need to go to the next level, maybe college or wherever you need to go to get to where you need to be. So you have to be comfortable with change. Change is a good thing.
Yeah, let's kind of talk about our growth. What we've seen along the way, the things that we've done, the things that we encountered, how we grew, certain situations that we had to let go, and certain things that we had to grow from as a whole. Let's kind of take it all the way back, Jay, to when you first came into River City Hoops and how we were just really taking off. And at that time, we had different partners, different business partners initially. And let's talk about visions in that growth. I would say that, we had business partners and our visions weren't on the same page. And so which kind of stunted our growth in regards to coaching, media, website, because when you first came along, we didn't even have a website, did we?
No. And I'm like, hey, and so, all right, so check game. So my conversations that I would have would be like, hey, in the day and age that we are in right now, the digital era, you have to have a social media, you have to have a website. Because granted, everybody in the city know these two. You know them. But there's going to be some people who don't know you. And so, sometimes, we may make the assumption, well, everybody know Coach B. Everybody know Coach Ashley. Well, it may be somebody, this is a military town. And so it may be somebody that just moved in and now they don't know. They may just think you're Joe Schmo. They may think he Joe Schmo, and so the more that you can have that information out there, now people can come and they'll know where to show up for practice locations. They'll know, now I don't have to answer all those repetitive questions because I can say, hey, I don't have a car right now, but go to JacksonvilleRiverCityHoops.com. Yep. And you have all this information. And so it's very necessary. If you're looking to grow, you got to think ahead. And that's kind of the mindset that I had when I started to come in and started to put my influence into River City Hoops. Is thinking ahead and saying, all right, what are we gonna do when the top kid in the nation comes to Jacksonville? He looks for a program and they go to Google. When they type in AAU basketball, go at home and do it right now. Tell me who pops up. It's gonna be us. That's thinking ahead. And so if you're not thinking ahead, if you're a program and you're out there and you don't have a website and what you're doing, if you go to Google right now and you type your name and you don't pop up, you need to get that right.
Yeah, and I think the first thing you have to do when you accept a kid into your program, I think you need to ask questions first. I think the first thing you should ask is the kid and their parent is what is their vision? I think you and them have to have the same vision as far as getting that kid where he needs to go. It can't be personal. It can't be about winning for you. It has to be about what's best for that kid.
That's a good point. Just throughout our growth and our transgressions and things like that, I would say, website, yes, was necessary. But I think we've grown too, as coaches, as business owners, as partners, and as friends. I would say when we first started, we were running 2-3, 2-3, 2-3, pounding it, pounding it, pounding it. And then it was, I implemented the things that I did at a collegiate level. You implemented the things that you did. You literally, this is the Dr. CB right here at Google. Googling plays and stuff. And so I think, knowledge is power. And actually getting out and seeing different styles of play and studying the game of basketball has grown our program to the point where, one, we're most hated, and second, us just being victorious. And so through running different offenses, through defense, whether it's man-to-man, whether it's a press, whether it's the flex offense or the motion offense, and all different types of sets in the motion offense, and really preparing our kids to not only be, versatile, but being more than one-way dimensional or being multi-dimensional players. You and I know that through this growth that we're having with our own kids and keeping our kids together, that some of our bigs right now won't be bigs later.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And literally training our kids on different aspects of the game, whether it's the IQ, different possessions. I think the beautiful thing about our growth is that we stopped running so much what we call set plays and started running more flex offenses or 5-out motion spread offenses to actually get our kids acclimated with the wing, with the point guard, decision making and things like that. And so I would say that's a lot of growth for us just from a player aspect or from a coaching aspect. We've grown. I will also say we outgrew situations. I would say in order to build an elite program, because that word elite is thrown around more often than what it should be. I would say in order for us to build an elite program, we have to do elite things. I know sometimes a lot of you guys follow our social media, and our saying is work ethic is unmatchable. That means what we're doing over here, nobody else is doing. The things that we're learning, the things that we're screwing up over here in our programs, just nobody's doing what we're doing. And again, that comes from growth. We are one of the programs in the city that does basketball 365. And whether you want to consider it or not, in our off season, we're training, we're working on our bodies, we're grinding, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I would just say that, growth is necessary, and we've had some growth offensively, defensively, but we're growing as individuals. You want to shed some light on your growth, B?
Yeah, my growth is having to learn to run things that don't necessarily fit what all of the, how can I put this? Running certain things that don't just fall in line to the basic offenses and the basic defenses. It's like we want to put the kids in awkward situations to learn different things. So my number one thing is, if I have a big, you don't want to stick up a kid in a category of a big. Because pretty much nowadays, NBA is going and transitioning to a way that the bigs are on the wing.
You ain't 7 feet?
You ain't in there. You better get out there. You better be able to dribble the ball. I'm trying to make some Anthony Davises.
Okay.
That's where the money coming from right now. So, just not getting set in my ways, and I'm always willing to learn while I'm teaching my kids at the same time. You learn something new every day.
Yeah. And I would say, to people in programs or who have their own programs and they want to talk about growth, we'll kind of touch base back on outgrowing situations, outgrowing people, and separation and things like that in order for you to grow. I would say everybody that's on our journey right now is meant to be on our journey, or that's with us is meant to be with us. I would say we had certain situations where we had parents who found it necessary to go to social media and or down our program on social media. We have coaches who weren't in alignment with our dreams and our vision, which became a point of intimidation. And so I would say that we had to grow apart in order for us to grow together to be successful. Go ahead.
To touch on that, as Nipsey said in the interview, he called his clothing line the marathon because he went through every range of emotion throughout the process. And so my question to you would be, throughout the growth process, it's many names, many programs,
Yeah.
FAA, MASH, now River City Hoops, hosting tournaments, to this year surviving during COVID, a pandemic. None of us have, and this pandemic washed away a lot of ball clubs.
Yep.
A lot of ball clubs. And now they're going to come back. There's going to be a lot more to come back, but how was that growth process? Was it painful? Was it uncomfortable? Or there's some times where you question your will to even continue down the path that you're going?
Are you asking me?
And yes, I'm asking you this. And did it make you? Obviously, it made you want more because here we are today.
Yeah.
But just walk us through that process. You too, Coach B. Walk us through that.
Well, first thing was COVID. Oh my God, it was hard for everybody. I think.
Let's go before COVID.
You want to go before COVID?
Let's go way before COVID.
Let's see how far you want to go. How far you want to go back?
Let's be honest. Last year or last season, AAU season before COVID, how did we feel? The separation of different programs, the players, the coaches. Like, how did we feel? Neil.
We at the end of last year, in ways I think me and you both were a little defeated. I think it was the fact that
my heart was torn.
Yeah, we took so many people that were friends, and that's a life lesson. When you take friends and put them in situations and think because your friends is going to work out, it doesn't always work out like that. And sometimes it destroys friendships just for the fact that your journey ain't for everybody. So this person might have one way of doing things, which may not be wrong, and you might have another way of doing things. But, you're supposed to work together to get on the same page. And when it's not working, it's not always easy to split that relationship when you already started. So we ended up with a couple of coaches that were near and dear to us, going off doing their own thing and taking a few of our kids with our best kids. So it kind of had us defeated in a way. But, we had our hopes and we got back on the path, and everything that we lost came back to us.
I think when you genuinely do things from a place of passion and a place of purpose, and then you pour everything that you have into something, and then it kind of backfires and slaps you in the face. To me, it gave me a sense of like literally I felt defeated. I would text him, I would cry to him and be like, well, damn, like how I don't understand how these people could be with me for so long, or how we knew somebody for so long and they would try to replicate our dreams and our passion. I know, like, at certain times, like, literally, guys, dedicating my time, my family time, and everything, getting sick, having the ulcer issue, and either having a blood transfusion, like, that stress poured into my physical. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I would say between last year to this year, I think we, as a whole, were able to change that negativity and turn it into something positive. It was more like fuel than it was anything. I mean, look at us now. Not many teams lasted through COVID. Not many teams have apparel. Not many teams are doing a podcast. Not many teams are winning. Everybody in the city hollering exposure, exposure, exposure. Ain't no teams going to exposure, but ain't nobody saying that River City Hoops is going to Nike grassroots tournaments either. But then they'll come back and they'll say, oh, well, they sell you on exposure. No, we actually doing exposure. And the unfortunate part is that we're in a city where instead of people coming together and collaborating, they become more of competition with you. But with that being said, in regards to the growth, I think we've outgrown, and understand I'm not being braggadocious, but I would just say we've outgrown Jacksonville in regards to where we are and what we're doing right now. Would you agree, Jay?
Yeah. And I only say that because it's the situation, right? In Jacksonville, there's probably anywhere upwards of 30, I would say 20 to 30
AAU
teams, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to say, I know everybody says AAU, and a lot of clubs aren't AAU sanctioned. They don't go to AAU sanctioned events. They just play local. So I'll just say there's about 30. And, next year there'll probably be even more. But what that does is, if you break it down from a business standpoint, it waters down the competition.
Facts.
Because you may see Coach B, his team won a national championship, man. They ain't that good. I'm gonna go get me a team, and we gon' man.
Oh, not get you a team.
Hold on. Don't say it. Not get you a team. I'm gonna go get his players to start me a team.
That too. Hey, I'm gonna get his players. I'm gonna go get her players, and we gonna
no.
We gonna murder them.
Or I'm gonna be one of your parents, and I'm gonna take my kid over here and try to take the other kids and think that we gonna beat you because we weren't in agreement with your dreams and your purpose.
And so what happens in this crowd in the Barrow City, this is what happens.
Okay. Talk to him,
If she's hosting a tournament and somebody else is hosting a tournament, hey, you and your teams can play for free or nothing. Don't go worry about playing with her. Or, if it's a player situation, well, I know them fees kind of high at River City Hoops. Go ahead. Hey, you bring your kid over here, they're going to play for free. But what are they getting? Are they asking you, what are your growth expectations? What do you want?
Shout out to River City Hoops parents, because one thing about it and two things for sure. And Tammy, Javar's mom, thank you so much, because when we were training on Sunday, she said this. Coach, the other program that we came from said that they gave Vars everything. They taught him what he know now. They made him. Granted, how old is Vars? 12?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all made him. But here's my thing. She said, but the thing that I respected about you, Coach Ashley, and the things that y'all doing is that you asked me one question. What do I want from my son? And what's my expectation? Excuse me. And the thing is like, you guys are saying, hey, come over here and play. Come over here and play. Let's team up so we can beat her. Beat her. I love, shout out to Sweetwater, there's no hate, but I love the saying when y'all say y'all know locals. And I understand why y'all say it is because y'all over this local, excuse my French, y'all over this local shit. Like, we are above the local success. And here's the thing, we gain nothing by winning trophies in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. Our kids get no exposure, our coaches get no growth, and our parents aren't happy because we aren't playing competition. And then everybody in the city starts saying, well, what we heard this week, she trophy chasing. Or we watered down. What's she gonna teach them boys? She a female. Or how about this one? All she doing is taking people's money. And here's the thing, we can't take money if we're just playing local. We can't take the money if we have college coaches inquiring about your kid. We're not taking money when we're literally feeding these kids, putting them on the road, and let's be quite frank. And shout out to Compton Magic. What's his name, babe? I'm
not gonna butcher his name. I think it's E-Top or Udo.
It's something like that. But shout out to him because he threw us out a lot of gems out there in regards to, building programs and the growth of programs and the recruiting process. Did he not?
He did.
He said, what did he say? He said, I don't just recruit the kid. I recruit the entire family.
I recruit the family. And, to kind of close that circle on not gaining anything, from a competitive in Jacksonville, I think our growth goals, our vision is different. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we're looking at it, and it's so funny, right? A couple years back, there was a team, and I mentioned them earlier. I think it was the Tar Heels, and they happened to come last minute to support us and play in the tournament, and they were just like, "We're gonna play in Jacksonville." And I was kind of like, I didn't really understand. Now I get it because there's just no game when you got grown men playing on AAU teams to go win a trophy against 16-years and 17-years. What are we teaching?
Oh, you got your 8th grade team playing in the 6th grade bracket.
What are we teaching? What are we gaining? And when you got the guy like the coach, the co-founder of the Compton Magic, he breaking it down like, since we want to talk about exposure, if you ain't on no main shoe circuits, what are you doing?
Or small independent
circuit. You can go down to DME and play at something, and okay, but if there's no scouts there, let me tell you something. Half of your coaches out there ain't never been to a live exposure event. They ain't handing out trophies.
Say it again.
They're not handing out trophies because the trophies are not the object. What is your goal? I look at River City Hoops, we look at River City Hoops as we're offering you a service. And so in order for us to meet your needs, I'm going to need to know what are your needs. And so that you can measure me and I can measure the product, which is your kid. And let you know, hey, that you're getting that return on your investment out of us on your kid. That's it. That's what we're going to sell you on. Not sell you on. That's what we're going to tell you and we're going to execute on. We're going to follow up on it. You can hold us to it. I can't say that for the other 20 some odd 30 programs in the city. Shout out to Coach Maurice and Team Jacksonville.
Yes.
He's getting people to college. Shout out to Ben at Impact. He's getting people to college.
Shout out to Team Parsons.
Yeah.
Team Parsons for getting kids where they need to be.
They're getting people. They're playing in the gyms. They're getting seen. So, hey, I'm going to salute you. If you're not doing that and you're just playing for recreational, please make sure you get recreational parents and recreational kids. Last year around this time, around tryouts, people were blowing up my line. There was a kid that called my phone and said, hey, I don't want to play for competition. I just want to play recreational. I can't have a recreational kid playing with kids that's on a competitive level, because when we lose and you're giving forth a recreational effort, like, oh man, it's all right. Yeah, coach is tripping. No, man, what are you doing? We came here to execute, and you came here to just have some fun. Yep. That's not what it's about. You go to that exposure event, you go to that shoe circuit, and there is no stargazing. Yeah. It's no stargazing. There's no, hey man, we just came out to have fun. Because if Coach B's he's number one and she's number two, and I'm ranked unranked, or I'm 99, I'm the 99th kid to go. Oh, I already know if I'm playing against these two, I gotta go hard. And that's what we're gonna tell our kids. Hey, this is a business trip. Don't bring the Xbox. Don't bring the PlayStation. Ain't gonna be no Fortnite.
We're taking phones at a certain
vacation.
time.
We are coming here to make sure everybody in the gym know about that team from the South called River City Hoops.
You know what's funny though? I seen the funniest post on Facebook, and it said that ain't nobody looking at kids right now in class of 2025 or 7th graders or something like that. I say that's bullshit.
Definitely.
Because if you know what we know and you've been where we've been, in the gyms that we've been, literally, we ain't hopping from high school gym to high school gym. We going to field houses. We going to multi-court facility arenas and playing in these places where when you walk in, it says college coach check-in right here, where you have to pay money for a book to get all these kids' information, real deal exposure events. And they're running to us, or they're literally going court to court with our 6th grade team, with our 7th grade team, with our 8th and 9th grade team. We were literally sitting on the patio one night, and we had the director of Slam Magazine literally give us a call about 2 of our players to come Midwest to come play and showcase their talents, and so that they can be in the magazine. And so here's my thing. Most people talk things that they don't know, but we talk things and facts that we know. And so, again, that's a part of our growth. We was great when we played city ball, when we played in the local 365 tournament. Shout out to Big Mike for doing his recreational tournaments here in the city and above basketball. But, it was great when we was doing that. But I would say we've grown. Mm-hmm. We're literally on the road. And you can go anywhere in Jacksonville, anywhere in Florida. But like he said, if it's not a shoe circuit, and I ain't talking about the silver Adidas Junior gauntlets, if it's not a shoe circuit, you ain't making no noise. You ain't making no noise. There's grassroots. There's things out there for us to put our kids in, guys, in order for us all to grow. But with that being said, where we are, go ahead.
I do want to say it's some kids that, just like you said, want to play locally for the fun of the game, or they're not at that level yet to go to these big tournaments. So, like I said, locally isn't always a bad thing. It's a stepping stone to get where you're trying to get to move up to that next level. So, no knock on anybody locally. We're not.
No knock.
Yeah, no knock at all.
It's one of them situations,
we educating, B.
It's one of them situations where, and we've been in it long enough to realize when a kid is ready or not under the lights. And so if that kid is struggling in city and they're struggling in power, I can't take you on the road, and you're literally in the gym, and they got 7 courts, and all these whistles are going at once.
Oh yeah,
they're all going at once. The crowd is going. It's
people
not just
standing around the
crowd.
courts
People
all
standing.
over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's different. The game is fast. It's fast paced. You starting to realize, hey, they're not calling fouls. They letting us play through.
Can't take your parent out of town and then they're yelling and cussing and screaming.
Right.
The college coaches on the side.
Right.
We've been through that too.
Oh yeah, we have our fair share.
Yeah.
It changed.
We've had parents say that we had too many kids on the team, and granted we did, but all those kids weren't traveling with us or what have you. We've had parents say, he can't coach, I can't coach. We've had parents say, go on social media and talk about everything that's irrelevant. We've had
parents that we had to tell they're not the coach and to sit down and get out. So pretty much, let me tell you something about River City Hoops. All our parents are coaches too. I just want to let y'all know that because they think they can coach the game just as much.
All of them. From our videographer.
And we love them. Sometimes we have to look over there and tell them, hey, I got this.
We got this.
So,
but it's growth though.
Yeah, it is.
But we have fun this season.
Yes,
Let me tell you something. We applied so much pressure during COVID season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we coming 10 times harder. And, like, that's growth because when you've been knocked down, talked about, slandered, defeated, and everything just to come out like this year was our coming out season. Mm-hmm. But we ain't even really came out. We just started peaking. And my thing is, it's like, this going to be our come out season. And, like, we are so excited about the growth and how much we've grown. Even, like, in our friendship, we've grown a lot. Like, even from him telling me I'm wrong, to me telling him he wrong, to our kids hanging out, like, the growth, like, it's conducive to what we do on and off the court. And even our players, like, we've had situations where our team fell apart. I know my group did, and we lost 2 of our key starters. And even the growth from the kids saying, you know what, coach, we're going to do this. We're going to do it without him. Like, let's go harder and things like that. And granted, some situations we could have played a little harder, but just the fact that they never gave up and that, CJ tells me NLMB at all times. And I asked him, I said, what is NLMB? He said, never leave my brothers. And that's the shout out to the Compton Magic because he said that they started young in middle school and kept a group of kids together that they knew would make it later. Did he not?
He did. But he also said, and that's the thing about growth, right? Because I think we're at the cusp of a crossroads because every kid can't travel. And if you've been with us throughout the years, you've been a long tenured member of the family, and your kids on that bubble of where they gonna really need to show some improvement, or they're gonna have to, not travel with us this year. That's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's uncomfortable, and so your blessing can also be your curse. And so I'm sure there's some people who will probably approach, the guy from the Compton Magic and be like, man, back in the day, now all the kids from Compton would be on your team, but being that he's on all these different circuits, and you got these guys who are projected first-round draft picks.
He said 3 out of 4. I'm going to cut you off. 3 out of 4 kids on every team that he has went to the league, and going back to facts and statistics, I think it was since 2016 or 2015, he's had in his 17U class 3 or 4 kids every single year go top 10 NBA draft.
Like T.I. say, we're on a narrow path and we all can't travel.
Right.
Sometimes it's just like that. So I feel like if you got kids with you that has been with you, for so long, we still do things locally. Mm-hmm. We still get into pals and different things like that just to discover new talent, or just because, it's our city, we putting on for our city most of the time. So like I said, we don't forget Jacksonville. Everything about Jacksonville, we are Jacksonville,
Yeah. Whether they want to admit it or not.
103rd,
hey.
All that. We are Jacksonville, so we're not looking down on Jacksonville. It's just the fact that why would our dream be to stay in Jacksonville? Like, why would our dream be to take our kids to Jacksonville to play something? Let's get them to where they need to be to graduate them. Let's take steps with them. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, back to the situation with just outgrowing people. I mean, sometimes when a person's vision isn't the same as yours, you might butt heads. But we believe over here at River City Hoops that we say what we feel and we say how we feel to each other while we looking at each other. We don't say it behind each other's back. So, there's no sneakiness going on. It's none of that. Like, if we feel a certain way about something, we're going to look you in your eyes and we're going to have that uncomfortable conversation with you. Either one of us, we're fine with it now. And, that's just how it is. I'm the guy that I'm not going to have a debate with you. I'm going to say what I feel, and then I'm going to turn and walk.
Oh, it's going to be one person in this program he debate.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be me. That's for sure.
And that happens. I look at it like this. Whether it's a car, whether it's a bus, there's one steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You can go anywhere you want to go. You can go this way, you can go that way, right? But there's only really one correct way. There's one right path, right?
Yeah,
there's one right path. And so you go the other way, but you went the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to turn around and work harder to get back on path because now you got distracted.
Mm.
And so I think in our growth process now, while we gassing up, hey, we may have a huddle. And we may just say, hey, I don't think that's the right way. I don't think we're going in the right direction. And hey, we might just have a sit down and talk about it and be like, yeah, you know what, you're right. Let's go in this direction. But when you got the wrong people in your clique, they start to use, like I said, your blessings as a curse and say, dang, well, back in the day, man, we could drive our cars. We didn't have to do no van. Why we got to get a van? Why my kids just can't ride with me?
Because we're trying to get better.
Trying to build bonds.
Mm-hmm.
If your kid can't ride in the van, what make you think your kid gonna want to ride in the charter bus or ride commercial? Those are come on. How are we gonna grow? How are we gonna grow? Because when if your kid makes it to a D1 or D2 school, you gonna ride them to the game? They gonna ride with you? That's gonna be their first time riding with that. Come on, man. Give them some memories to reflect back on and say, all right, yeah, this was way better than AAU. Like, man, look at this. Y'all providing snacks and like, this is cool right here. I ain't got to worry with my mom kissing me, taking pictures and stuff. Like, but they prepared for it because they getting into a routine. They know they not going and playing no video game. So they not in culture shock when the college folks say, hey, even in your student dorms, ain't no video games. Like, what? No, I thought they already prepared for it. Think ahead. If you want growth, think ahead. And visualize it, manifest on it. That's all part of the growth process.
And a couple of things of advice. For those who are on the journey that we're on, trust the process. Trust the process. Don't give up. Write your goals down every day, all day. Review them all day, every day. Study the game. Be a student of the game. YouTube is like the basketball dictionary. Also, don't feel defeated. Even at your worst time, like, don't feel defeated. Also, before we close out on our growth today, tip of the day, because we didn't jump off that podcast with a tip of the day. I would say the tip of the day in regards to growth would be, help me out here.
My tip would be this. My tip would be, don't share your goals and dreams with everybody. Sometimes that gives them a red eye to attack your goals and your dreams. And so if we go out here right now on this podcast and tell you guys what are our plans for our next travel season.
Oh, yeah.
The people that hate our guts are going to schedule the same tournaments.
That's a lot of people.
They probably tuning in right now, B.
And so I dropped that nugget especially for you. So get your own goals, get your own dreams, get your own visions. If your only goal and dream and vision is to sabotage us, hey.
Stop hating.
Stop hating, man.
Period.
Like, hey, Black Lives Matter. I love black people. I don't know why we hating on other black people.
The most.
That's crazy to me because the white people ain't tripping like that.
The time y'all spending program bashing, you can be getting better.
The Asian people ain't tripping like that. The Indian people ain't tripping. The purple people, green people, red people ain't tripping like that.
They're working with each other.
They were working with each other. So, hey, For any of y'all competitors out there that's getting tired of getting y'all ass kicked by us, you know, you can definitely join us.
You can email us at rivercityhoops904@gmail.com, or you can check us out on Instagram at rivercityhoops_, and or you can check us out on Facebook at River City Hoops. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Enjoy your Wednesday. It's your girl, Coach Ashley.
I'm Coach B.
I'm Pops.
And we'll catch y'all next week.